All right, welcome everyone. My name is Ted Chris. You'll see that I'm in my own sort of bunker. I'm joined by my co-worker, Kevin.
I'm on the high seas. I took social distancing very seriously, as did Ted, which makes it hard for both of us to work together at times since he's underground and I've been at the sea for the last 10 months.
Right. Well, I feel like I am safer though. I'm not going to catch anything from birds or,
I can, but I can catch fish, so that's a plus,
Oh, this is true. Well, I have my supplies, so it's all good.
There you go.
Well, today we're going to be working on that bunker divorce that we had sort of started. And so, what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're currently looking at our Stephanie Loner bunker divorce workspace that we've sort of put together. And since we've already sort of been working with our client, we're going to start to sort of continue to use some of these tools that we can do to kind of track where we're at. So sort of my starting point that we had discussed doing, Kevin, is we were going to start off with our set. And we're inside of our set, we're going to create our new set, which is really going to serve to help us obviously remember that we're not leaving anything out, because obviously there could be quite a bit to leave out in this particular scenario. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to create one of my divorce sets here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from a pre-existing set that you and I tend to use when we're handling these types of proceedings. So,
absolutely. And just to be clear to everyone watching, this is Ted's screen here, and this is my own screen here. So we are in fact we're both on our different computers working here, just so everyone knows. And that's also why it looks a little weird, and because you're looking at both of our computers at the same time.
Hey guys. Right. They are asking if you can share it any bigger. I just wanted to say out loud that it looks like it's not quite a full screen on purpose.
Right.
Right? Yep. Okay.
We're using, in a normal scenario, right, we wouldn't have to share each other's screens and then present on another form of media. So we're using multi-platforms to kind of get this done. So
but what we can do, I can move this around just so that you guys can see his screen, and then we'll go back to mine.
That sounds great. And you guys might want to introduce yourselves.
Right. Thank you for reminding us. That's why we have Karen. So my name is Ted Chris. I'm with the document management team here at Affinity Consulting, and I'm joined by my co-host here, Kevin.
Hi, I'm also at the document management team at Affinity Consulting. Sorry that we forgot to tell you who we were. That's on us. We're just so excited about Set Builder that we kind of skipped over it.
Right. Well, also we're remote, so that has as well. So, what we're starting off with is we're going to, again, be using some of these tools that we can leverage to manage our case since, Kevin's sailing and I'm, hunkered down here. So what we're going to start off with is inside of our net documents. We have our Stephanie Loner bunker divorce workspace. And again, where we're starting is we're going to start using sets. And the way the two of us are using it for our particular client is we're using it as a workflow. So I'm just going to back up one level because I just think that it's important for you all to see. All we did up to this point is we just added our set and I created one called divorce. Now there is different ways if you have Set Builder to manage how you have different sort of headers and footers and sort of set up how you're going to create your set. I'm sort of cheating today because I already have one that's already built called divorce proceedings. And so what you're going to see is I'm just left clicking and I'm going to drag it into our particular set here. And you saw that there's a little reference to copy. And basically, as I do that, the system is going to create my set for me. So just kind of dragging it into this space over here, and I'm just simply letting go. I'm just going to hit my refresh screen here, and we're going to come right back into our set and see that took place for us. 1 second here. And I'm going to try that one more time. And I'm wondering if my set is going to fight me. So let me do something else. So just move this over. This is part of the challenge when we're using multiple platforms here. And I'm actually going
There we
to,
go. Yeah.
I'm going to create another one. So what we're going to do is create a divorce number 2. I'm just going to see if I can trick it by adding in another set that we can drag into. So let's just see if it allows me to do this. Here we go. That looks like it did it. Yep.
All right.
Basically, what you'll see is now my set has been created. And, the reason why Kevin and I like to use Set Builder, in this particular case, we're using it in sort of 2 capacities, right? One, we're going to use it as workflow. It gives us the ability to kind of see, since we tend to be forgetful, what we're missing, right? What we see is in our set, we have different categories of our proceeding, different documents that we're working on, basically collecting from our client. Because what we're gearing towards is we're going to generate a document off of all these documents. But again, what we're currently seeing is we're missing a couple. So you'll see that we have our mortgage statements, property taxes, retirement accounts, and all of those have these blue items that appear underneath them. So visually, we see that we have those items. We also have a couple other areas, our bank statements, car notes, which we are missing. So what we're going to want to do is kind of work on kind of filling in the gaps of where we're missing those. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over and I'm going to talk to you about, since we're working with Stephanie, who is our client, on sharing documents with us, we, since we initially talked with her as our client, we set up a collab space, giving her the ability to share documents with us. And so when I go into that collab space, and actually, just in case you've never created one, before I go into ours, I just want to show you that to add a collab space, assuming that you have that module, it's as simple as you clicking on add collab space, and we're going to go ahead and give it a name, right? So we give it a name, and once you basically hit save after that, we have saved and created a collab space. Now, when I go into our collab space, we've set up sort of a very sort of vanilla generic collab space. So I have the locations, or pardon me, we have a couple folders for Stephanie to share documents with us. And then we have a folder that we can share documents with Stephanie, for example. So kind of gives us a little flexibility, that little back and forth sort of scenario. When I come in here to Stephanie Uploads, just wanted to show you that currently we don't have any uploads from Stephanie. So, again, looks like we're missing a couple documents from Stephanie. If I go into our documents review, again, these are just empty folders at this point. Now, from where Stephanie sits, at some point we're going to want her to share documents with us. And so for her to share documents with us, it's not that complicated of a process. It's really, from where she sits, it's really just going to boil down to a drag and drop scenario. So I'm just going to bring over my little window here so you can kind of see it. Sorry, I'm using a second screen to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my documents and I can drag them and drop them into that location. So as I drag and drop those into that location, they're just simply going to profile into my existing collaboration space here. So again,
Hey,
it's
Ted,
yes.
while you're doing that, can you speak to how this is different or the same as share space?
Yes. So yes. So share space. The main purpose of why we moved away from share spaces is that share spaces, we were limited on how we could secure or grant access to a particular location. With share spaces, it had, the other challenge with share spaces is it navigated differently. So in our system, since it is pretty straightforward as far as, I can create folders, and more importantly, when I back up to my workspace, I see my tab here. With share spaces, we didn't necessarily have a tab, so it wasn't as intuitive as what we currently have with collab spaces.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, with collab spaces, we do have a little more flexibility that we can leverage to set up our folders, and more importantly, grant who can do what inside of those folders. So I'm just going to basically, I'm just going to take some of my test documents here, and we're just gonna, again, drop those additional items into our Stephanie test upload folder. So we have some additional documents to add into our already existing set. So again, have some additional documents here inside of my set. So now we're going to sort of move on to sort of coming back into our client matter. And we're going to look at our set one more time, because again, we now have documents that are starting to come into our system. And now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're going to add some of these documents into our particular location. So different ways to sort of handle this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move a couple of these using my move function. We're just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move this so that Stacy also has a copy of what we have done for her. So I'm going to just move some of these into her upload folder here, just like I've done right here. So now when we come over to our collab space, I can basically see I'm still sharing. I saw that little people icon, see the little people icon right here. And I still have Sherry's uploads right here. So again, if I come into my Sherry's upload, I see some of those additional documents that we had moved from our workspace, our retirement account statement, for example. So now we can continue working on our particular case together. So where we would typically go from here is, we have documents, but we're going to come up, in our test scenario here, let's just say that, that Stacy has, or pardon me, Stephanie has shared a document with us that requires Kevin and I to do a little more back and forth on, right? So instead of us trying to do that in the actual document, we're going to go ahead and we're going to leverage our ND thread. When I click on my ND thread, it gives me the ability to, you'll see that I currently have my collab space because it's tied to my client matter, which is nice. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a thread. So Kevin and I can start to kind of take a look at this existing document. So we're going to review this retirement statement, for example. And we're going to go ahead and kind of go back and forth on that document and make some comments together. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that thread. You'll see that Kevin is already part of my team. So he's already been added to my thread. Now what I want to do is we're going to look at this specific document. We're going to make some notes that him and I can basically work on together. So we're coming into our link document here and different places that I can get my document, but we're going to be, since we're working back and forth with the client, I'm going to stay focused on that collab space because that's what we're going back and forth on. And I've now dropped in I'm dropping in my retirement statement in here. And when I need Kevin to look at this, similar, which is interesting. I don't tweet, but apparently the @ is a thing. So I'm just going to @ and I can start to type in Kevin's name and you'll see him right here. And I can send him a message, please review. And when he has ND thread opening as an app inside of his system, he'll see that I've done a call out to him and he can respond from his ship internet.
Absolutely. And let's go ahead and just take a look at that real quick. So I'm already at this workspace. So when I just open up ND thread, I see this in the orange statement with Ted asking me to do work. Personally, I'm just going to go ahead and tell him busy. So unfortunately, he can also see my screen, so he knows in fact that I'm not busy. Ted, back to you.
Exactly. So what I'm doing is I'm now going to start to put in references that I need Kevin to review. And so again, this is a matter of preference, but I like to say, Kevin, in this case, please, review this amount, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and post that. And when I post or I start a comment, you'll see that there's a reference. There's a 1 here referencing something that I've done a call out on. And I'm calling out Kevin on my particular reference. Now, I need to.
There's a comment there as well. And let me move that over so everyone can see it. So this is the comment that he gets put in to please review that amount. If I open up this document now, just one moment, I will see the same thing. And I will say to Ted, lots of lines in there. There we go. So I have now replied to Ted, and when he goes back to see it and refreshes,
Yep, I'm gonna see that same statement that he did. Now, again, the reason why it's a little bit of a refresh back and forth is just from a standpoint that how we're currently using this. And I can basically say, hey, I reviewed this with client. It is correct. Go ahead and post that comment. He'll have that update. And then essentially we know that this particular document is ready. So what I could do is I can X out of this particular document coming out of our collaboration. And if I wanted to, I have a couple different options I can do with my thread. I can keep it open. And maybe I want to basically just say, review done, right? Something of that nature, just referencing for the thread, if I'm going to keep it open, that this is basically a completed, we did our review, it's done. If I wanted to, I can also, on our thread, I can actually delete our thread. If I felt like I didn't need it anymore, I'm going to keep it open just in case we need to reference that in the future. But I have that.
You can also rename that thread name to closed or completed as well, just so if anyone else was invited, they would know then that it was completed.
Yep, that's a great point. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and do that.
If only all of our reviews were that easy.
Well, this is true, right? If it was that quick, I'm telling you, we'd be killing it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to switch back over to our set because what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a look at our divorce to pleading one more time, and we realize that again visually we see that we're missing those documents. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to edit our binder and we're going to bring some additional documents into our document, clicking on this add document section. Now I can select documents to upload from a location. Typically that's a local selection, or more importantly, I'm going to select from workspace, and I can come in here and I can pick where do I want to bring those documents into my particular into my particular case. Now, I'm just going to select in this particular case 3 documents here. I'm going to go ahead and link those in. And now I'm creating links to those documents into my area. So you see that it brought my 3 documents in down here. And again, let's just say they're named incorrectly. Let's just say that this is my actual, this is from the bank statement. I can go ahead and rename that bank statement. And then I know that I'm looking for a car loan. So perhaps this is my car loan. Go ahead and save that. And I have my retirement statement. So my retirement statement, oops, I already brought it in. It's right here. So I can go ahead and just delete that. I'm not deleting my document. I'm just simply deleting my link to it. But again, my bank statement needs to be up top or Kevin's going to forget where it is and we're going to be bringing it in again. So
I'm forgetful. That's true.
I brought my bank statement in there. Now I'm going to grab my car loan. We're going to grab my car loan. We're going to drag that up. And now visually, we're looking at all of our documents. They all seem like they're in order. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pivot and say, you know something, let's just say that, again, we found that one of these documents we might need to make a change on, right? So, and in particular, I'm coming into my documents here. Actually, not a change. We're just going to reference, let's just say that this couple's had a friend, their friend was Marty, and we need to actually reference or make some notes on this statement that we received from the friend. So what we're going to do is we're going to use sort of another tool that we have, which is online collaboration. So if I right click here, I have the ability, if you have Office 365, I can launch this document into the cloud. Right? So normally when we check out a document, we're using sort of those local applications that run on your computer, right? We are all hopefully somewhat familiar maybe with ND Office, ND Click. Those are our local apps that are helping us to work on that document locally. But we're literally launching it into the cloud. So, Kevin can receive it from his yacht out there on the water. So
I have a great hotspot on my cell phone. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
It is amazing, right? Everyone's going to start sailing if that's truly the case. So I'm just going to go ahead and complete logging in here to my my online account. So again, in order to use this, I have to log into my Office 365 account. And of course, we have our two-factor authentication. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that in here. 1 second.
Please don't show everyone your password.
Sure, I'm gonna work on that. One here. And what's really nice about what we're looking at in particular here is that if you have Office 365, this is sort of this is a normal this is absolutely something that you can do inside of your system. I'm just going to relaunch that 1 second here.
Yeah, that is the nice thing for Microsoft Word Online and all the online Office programs. They're already kind of built in with your Office 365. So they're already there, just kind of waiting for you to use them.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to attempt to finish this 1 second here.
I now realize why I got so many help requests from you, Ted, about your password and it being missing. This is eye-opening for me.
Evan, while you're waiting for Ted to get his password all taken care of here, there was a question about whether the collabs tab is something that happens automatically in NetDoc's workspace, or is that something that their office would have to request to be added?
So for the collab spaces for each client in Matter, you can enable them to have the collab spaces. And that way you can share those documents with your client or any external source.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ted, you're doing so good, bud. You're almost there.
Yeah, my password is not coming up and I apologize about that. So give me 1 second and see if I can retrieve it. Here you go. I think I got it now. All right. Let's see if I can use this one.
This is almost as bad as losing, billions of dollars with your Bitcoin password.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is not as bad as that.
That would be a good problem. That would be a good problem to have. Hold on a second here.
While you do that, Ted, I'm going to go ahead and go to the documents on my screen. Go to the recent documents, see what we have in here, to see if we can find Marty's document that you put in there. So let's just go ahead and take a look. I might have to refresh my own. And then just let me know when you're up and running there. Did you put it in there we go, there's Marty's. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it online as well. Let's see if it'll go through for me.
Yeah, mine's fighting me, unfortunately.
That's okay. So when this opens up online, as you can see, it's just the document. Everything is pretty much normal here as far as a Word document. But since I opened it up online, if Ted was to open it up online with me, he would see the different changes I was making in real time. So I would highlight this. He would absolutely see that. I could also make edits. I can make any kind of changes I want. We can also make comments here. And there's little tabs where he can see what I'm doing with my initials. Can't really.
Now I'm actually online with you. So basically, we can basically start to see things together. So
absolutely.
My name is highlighted there, so I can start to say, not only highlight things, but certainly just like anything else, we can absolutely come in and make comments as well. And basically literally live collaborate on a document, which is great. What's awesome about this is that it's essentially, it is free. It's not something that that you have to pay additional for. Assuming you have Office 365, you can share your document. The key that I think that there's sort of two keys to this, and one is, you know, getting the document from inside NetDocuments, leveraging that open in function. And then once you're there, you know, what you'll see is this document is launched into the Microsoft Cloud, right? That's why it was prompting that login, because it's got to be secure. And again, wherever Kevin is, he joined remotely, and now we're able to do live collaboration on this particular document. What's great is that once we're done with our particular changes, all we have to do is just X out of this document, and our changes are saved back to the system automatically.
Yeah, it's actually a really great feature that we find to be very useful, even for just research or note taking in a meeting. If you have a Word document, everyone can add things in there. It's a really handy feature.
Absolutely.
Also, why was he friends with a 70-year-old man? In the movie, he's like 18. No one questions that. But his best friend is a retired nuclear physicist who's 70. Doesn't make any sense.
I feel like aren't we in that year already? Like, I feel like none of us are wearing those glasses. So something
yeah. And where's my self-lacing shoes too? I have lots of questions.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of that document, and we basically have just checked it back in automatically. And so again, what's nice is that all we did was leverage that via the particular Microsoft Online. So now that we've received our statement, everything looks good with it. Then we're down to sort of our final stage. You know, we have just coming back into our set. We know that we didn't forget anything because we have all of our documents in here. We've also reviewed that one statement that we received. So finally, we're at our final stage. We can generate our binder, and we have a couple different options here. We're going to generate, yeah, there we go. Move me over. We're going to generate as a PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and generate that PDF, and all it's doing is it's combining these documents together for me. And, you know, again, a natural step to this is at some point, we're going to share this document because essentially we're binding or generating all of our documents together. So we have a couple different options available to us. So one is, I'm going to bring my document over so you can see it. 1 second here. So basically what it's done is it's taken all of my documents. It's also not only packaged them all together. It's kind of hard to see here. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit for us like that. There we go. So it's created the index for me. All my documents are tied together. Now, you know, basically we can do our review, assuming everything looks good in our document. We can basically, we're all set to basically bind it together, right? So basically just come in here, we're going to do our file save as, which is pretty common for us. Come over to our check a different location, which again, depending upon your PDF program might work a little bit different. And now I'm just coming into my particular workspace, and I'm just going to give it a category. Just our sort of regular profile experience here. Going to click on our more options, come down here, and maybe we're ready to say that it is now an agreement. And go ahead, select that. And maybe I'm going to basically say that this is the divorce and final. We're going to call it the divorce and final. Go ahead and hit save. And once I've done that, system's going to assign a doc ID for me right up here. You can kind of see that it has that number for me. I'm going to move this down, and we're just going to close out of that document here. And we're just going to finish up looking at our work, because inside of our workspace, we have our divorce final. And to complete this picture, since we're already using our collab space, makes sense to just go ahead and leverage it one more time. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this using my move copy. Come in here to my Stephanie loaner, and I'm going to select that we're going to put this in our docs for Stephanie review, so she can kind of bless us that everything is looking correct. And again, I have the option. I can either move or copy here. For my example, I'm just going to go ahead and hit move. And so now, just to confirm from Stephanie's side of things, inside of her documents for her review, we will see that we have our divorce final document. So that sort of sums up how we can, some of these tools that we can leverage while I'm hiding out in my bunker and, jealous of Kevin sailing away.
Well, the seagulls everywhere. You wouldn't be jealous of it. But
Right.
yeah, another hard day's work done. We completed all of that in about 30 minutes. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Hey guys, there is a question. They wondered if you could just show really quickly, remind us how to add that collab space to, you said at each file, each matter.
Each
So
matter.
So depending upon settings, right? If I come over here to my customized workspace, I have some options down here. So basically it's me just clicking and selecting my collab space. Now, granted, I have to have the collab space app enabled before I can select it. So assuming I have it, can come down here, select it and engage it so I can see it and then leverage using it. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions that we had.
All right, excellent. Well, I thank you all for joining us. Something else that we're going to just remind you of is, certainly we are always willing to sort of lend a helping hand, regardless of where we're currently located. And Karen's going to remind me, they will, just by attending our webinar, they get.
Karen, what do they get?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you wanted me to say it. Everybody is welcome to take this topic and ask more questions or really anything about document management. We offer a free 30-minute DMS consultation just for joining us today. And I'll have that information as well in the follow-up email that everybody's going to get. Just respond to that and I'll help you get set up with a DMS expert at Affinity. How's that, Ted?
I think you nailed it. Well, thank you all very much. We would look forward to once again looking at your system, regardless of where we're located. So hopefully you'll give us the opportunity. Hope you all have a wonderful day and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.